Welcome to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness, the podcast where we bridge the gap between modern life and ancient roots, cutting through the wellness noise so you can stop guessing and start building a lifestyle that actually works for you. I'm your host, Jo Swenson, herbalist and founder of Olivia Bell. Today, I want to introduce you to a stress regulation technique called EFT tapping. Now, before you roll your eyes and think I've officially gone off the deep end, just stay with me for a minute, okay? I know tapping can sound a little out there when you first hear it, and I honestly thought the same thing the first time I saw someone tapping. But once I dug into the nervous system side of things, the somatic side of it, and the actual research being done around stress physiology, I realized that this wasn't some woo-woo magical sweat lodge type of practice. It was about interruption. Because here's the reality. A lot of us try to think our way out of stress while our body is still acting like there's a fire going on. You can do all the research, do all the digging, understand your triggers, read the books, listen to the podcasts, and start journaling and doing all the things that you need to do. But your body can still feel physically anxious, feel wired, overwhelmed, like your body refuses to calm down. That's because stress is not just in our heads, it's also physiological. And sometimes our bodies need help getting that memo that the threat has passed. And that's where EFT comes in. So what actually is EFT? It stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It was developed in the 1990s by a man named Gary Craig, and it combines elements of acupressure with verbal acknowledgement of emotions or stress. Gary Craig has since passed on, but you can check out his work at Palace of Possibilities. The basic idea is simple. Tap on specific points of the body while talking through what you're feeling, and that's it. It's really simple. Modern EFT has become more mainstream thanks to people like Nick Ortner from The Tapping Solution. He has helped bring tapping into conversations about stress, anxiety, and emotional overwhelm in a way that feels a little more practical and approachable. I have taken a couple of webinars with him, and here's what I got to say. I like his approach. I like the way he does it. You can take away from it what you want. There is a particular method to doing this, but if that doesn't work for you, that's okay. Because at its core, tapping is a simple body-based regulation practice. In a world where most of us are living in our heads, getting this physical interruption is really, really important. When we experience stress, our body shifts into protection mode. And think about yourself. What happens when you start to experience stress? Does your heart rate change? Your breathing change? Your muscles tighten? You know you're getting stress hormone increase, and your brain's going to become super hyper-focused on whatever threat that you have detected. The thing is, modern life keeps that stress response spiral going, and it's all the time. Between emails, notifications, bad sleep, negative news cycles, or stress at work or in your relationships, your body doesn't know the difference between that type of stress and an actual emergency, which is why learning something like EFT can be helpful. There's research being done around it, and it's showing promising effects on stress reduction and cortisol levels. This is where I think people misunderstand a lot about nervous system regulation. It's not forcing yourself to calm down or going somewhere and laying in the grass. Yes, those things are helpful, but the big thing is creating safety in the body first so that our brain can stop sounding the alarm. And that's very different. But that is also why I think body-based practices are becoming much more important right now, whether it's through somatic work or things like EFT tapping. We are overstimulated. We're constantly consuming information, but we're rarely processing that stress physically. And remember, stress is energy and you need to get it out of your body. But if you're in a place where you can't go run down the street and scream and yell and get it out, you need something a little more subdued. That's why I think EFT tapping can actually work for some people. Because what it does is it gives you something to do in the middle of your overwhelm, right then and right there. When stress spikes, I start to spiral mentally or numb out, and I'll grab my phone and just start scrolling, doing whatever. Very few people actually pause long enough to reconnect with their body. And there's times where I just can't do that. So I have to find ways that's going to introduce that forced pause. That's where tapping comes in. It slows my momentum and interrupts my stress loop. That interruption can really, really be helpful for me. And I really think it can be helpful for you too. Not because tapping fixes anything, but it creates a moment where your body is not spiraling. And that matters a lot more than we realize. So here's physically how you do it. I tap with 2 fingers. If you're in a public setting and you're starting to feel that stress, take the 2 fingers and literally tap on the outside of your other hand. So just below your pinky finger, and just tap. Focus on that, and that will help start to slow your breathing. You'll see people tapping on their collarbone. You'll see people tapping on their arm. I know somebody who, when she starts to feel that overwhelm, she'll take her 2 fingers and she'll draw a figure 8 around her eyes. So she'll start in between her eyes. She'll drag her fingers around her left eye, go over the bridge of her nose, and then do another circle around her right eye. And she does that until she yawns, and that's how she knows she's reduced her stress. But EFT tapping is a different, more methodical approach. You're going to find a phrase and start talking through what you're feeling. So I'm going to give you an example. And if you're in a safe place where you can do this, I encourage you to follow along. If you're driving, I would focus on the driving for now. But this is what I do is I take a phrase. So my phrase might be, even though I feel overwhelmed right now, I am willing to give my body a moment to settle. And it's that simple. So repeat after me. Even though I feel overwhelmed right now, I'm willing to give my body a moment to settle. Now say that as you tap the very top of your head. Just start tapping, get in a little rhythm, and say, even though I feel overwhelmed right now, I'm willing to give my body a moment to settle. Tap now in between your eyebrows, just on the front of your forehead, and say, even though I feel overwhelmed right now, I am willing to give my body a moment to settle. Now, go to the side of your eye. Tap and say, I know that stress feels heavy. Now tap below your eye. My mind will not slow down. Now tap just below your nose on your upper lip and say, my body feels tense. Now tap just below your lower lip. I've been carrying too much for too long. Now take a breath and start tapping on your collarbone and say, even though I feel overwhelmed right now, I am willing to give my body a moment to settle. Now take a deep breath and a long exhale and pause there for a moment. You should feel a little bit different, a little less stressed, because this is just a way to slow you down. It's a softer, less intense way of reducing and interrupting the stress cycle. This is a tool. Tapping is not going to override your sleep deprivation or your inability to set boundaries and nonstop input and stimulation. It's a tool to help your nervous system. This is why I talk about holistic living and thinking outside the box and looking beyond the norm for some solutions to help you with your stress. Our sleep affects our stress. Our stress affects our hormones. Our hormones affect our mood. Our mood affects our behavior, and our behavior affects our physical health. All of this is connected. Tapping can become a useful part of nervous system support strategy. It's not going to replace therapy or medical care or your bad nutrition or lack of sleep. And if anybody out there promises you that, they're selling you a bill of goods. They just want your money. They're not really looking to help you heal. That's why I try to bring different tools to you that are outside the norm. So what I want you to try this week is the next time you start to feel overwhelmed or stressed, instead of grabbing your phone or zoning out, just find a part of your body and start tapping. Whether it's the side of your hand, on your arm, or do the figure 8 around your eyes. Give your body those 90 seconds fast. Breathe, tap, pause, and notice. Notice that your regulation starts with interruption because maybe, just maybe, your body has been asking for your attention long before it started screaming that it was under stress. I hope you make some time today and every day for some peace, some plants, and some pause. Thank you so much for listening to Untamed and Unfiltered Wellness.